We have a lot to cover in today's video, including the latest trade talk around the Calgary Flames and goalie Jacob Markstrom. Some new teams have emerged as potential landing spots for him. According to one reporter, the Maple Leafs just might be the team who gets it done. We'll discuss how that might work out. Plus, could the Calgary Flames also be in on some younger players around the league that need a fresh start? We're also taking a look at another situation where Brady Tkachuk's name has been brought up as a trade piece. And again, I don't really see how that's going to happen, but I want to discuss what was said on the NHL network from an NHL insider. So we'll go over that. Plus, we have some other big news from today's NHL action with the playoff picture becoming a little bit more clear in the Western Conference. Erik Karlsson's playing game 1000 tonight. The Blackhawks have signed a top prospect, and we have some more significant updates from the Coyotes relocation situation, especially a statement finally from owner Alex Muriel that didn't really say much at all. We'll discuss that more coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have a lot to cover here in today's video. First thing I want to get into is some results from the early NHL action today. Games going on all day here on Saturday. Some early games this afternoon. Games going all the way till late tonight. We now have some more clear picture of the Western Conference playoff picture. The Dallas Stars picked up a victory today, so they've now clinched the Central Division. It's not official, but they've most likely clinched top spot in the Western Conference as well, which means they would have home ice advantage throughout the Western Conference playoffs. But at the same time, that's not confirmed, but it's pretty likely right now. But they are definitely in first place, which means the Winnipeg Jets will play the Avalanche in the first round, because it's going to be number 2 and number 3. That we know is confirmed. None of the teams below them can catch them. We don't know who will be home ice advantage just yet. Right now it's leaning towards Winnipeg. The Jets and Avs actually played today, and the Jets absolutely whooped them 7-0. The Jets have actually owned the Avalanche this year, winning all 3 games and by wide margins. At that, the Avalanche could be in trouble if they can't make adjustments on how to handle this Jets team, because they've had their number all season long. So we know they're going to play in the first round. Don't know who will have home ice. We know Dallas will be playing wild card 2. But we don't know exactly who that's going to be just yet. On the eastern side of things, some more things will become clear later tonight. The Islanders played the Rangers today. They lost in overtime, but they did get one more crucial point. They could possibly clinch tonight if the Capitals and Red Wings both lose in regulation today. Those games are still either hasn't started as I record this or not completed yet, so it's difficult to say. The Capitals are playing Tampa. As I record this, it's 2-2. The Devils and the Flyers are playing each other today. Flyers are leading 1-0 after 2, and Toronto plays Detroit tonight, which has not started yet as I record this. So obviously the results of those games will have an impact on the standings here as well. So we'll see. The playoff picture is getting closer and closer to being sorted out. As we mentioned as well in tonight's games, we're also going to see Penguin defenseman Erik Karlsson play in game number 1000. Penguins have another crucial game this evening. 1000 games. Of course, he's a 3-time Norris Trophy winner. One of the greatest defensemen of his era for sure. Certainly somebody who I think will have no doubt going into the Hall of Fame. Definitely would like to see him, try to add a Stanley Cup to his resume before it's all said and done. Erik Karlsson's going to have himself a special night though for game 1000. So hopefully he'll be able to come through like he did in game number 999 with a big overtime winner. Another big performance tonight to try to help Sidney Crosby kind of will those Penguins into a potential playoff spot. Some other news around the NHL regarding some updates on injuries and things like that. We've got Connor McDavid is going to sit out again tonight. The Oilers are playing the Vancouver Canucks. They have a chance to close in on the Canucks and maybe even win that division. It's still possible at this point in time, but McDavid's confirmed he is out again tonight. So we'll see what that means for him. He's not too worried about it being an issue long term and wants to make sure this injury that's been nagging him has had time to heal up. We also got word as well that the Toronto Maple Leafs have sent Matt Murray to the American Hockey League's Toronto Marlies on a conditioning stint. So clearly we know Murray had off-season hip surgery. He's been out all year. We were led to believe he likely wouldn't play this year, and he won't technically, but I know I've seen a lot of people mad about the Vegas Golden Knights and calling Mark Stone's injury cap circumvention and all that. The fact we don't even know for sure that Mark Stone is going to play in game 1 of the playoffs. We do know that he started skating yesterday. I would think the odds of him appearing in at least the first round appear to be pretty good. But I don't know that. And I understand the frustration. I really do. It does. I understand why the questions are there, but I know from a Leaf perspective, you look at a lot of the teams that are a high percentage of playoff teams are in LTIR. And Matt Murray, you could say it's not the same thing because he's been out all year with, a hip surgery recovery, but really it's the same benefit. The Leafs were able to add more money to their salary cap because of the Murray injury, because his contract was able to be on LTIR all year. Coincidentally, he's going to the AHL now on a stint that can last a maximum of 6 days or 3 games. So maximum 6 days, they have 5 days left in their regular season. So it's really no different. So at this point, they're hoping to see if Matt Murray can be ready to be available for playoffs. He may not ever see the ice. I mean, I would suspect that they're going to go with Samsonov and Wall, maybe even Jones first. They're going to probably maybe have 4 healthy goaltenders. I don't know. But he is expected, I believe, to start tonight in his AHL stint. So we'll see how that goes and if everything goes well. But I know for Leaf fans talking about the Stone situation, it really isn't any different. A different amount of money, different injury, same sort of thing that they benefited. And really, there's a lot of teams benefiting from LTIR right now. So in all honesty, as much as we want to complain about Vegas, a lot of teams are doing it. So I don't really see the point in complaining. And NHL GMs don't show any signs of wanting to change it. They had their chances before and didn't do it. Boston tonight is getting Pat Maroon into his first game after being acquired with the NHL trade deadline, so he'll make his Bruins debut this evening. In Toronto as well, Joel Edmondson's out again. He came back, played 1 game, back out, so that's not good. They really need to get him healthy for the playoffs. And in Ottawa, Tim Stützle out again. He was expected to hopefully play this weekend. It's not happening. They got 2 more games left in their season after tonight, both on the road. Timmy's season might be over. Is there any point in putting him into a meaningless game, if he's not 100%? I just don't see the point. Just shut him down, let him get better, so make sure that he doesn't deal with anything that he doesn't need to in the offseason so that they can come back stronger next year. And another player who was hurt today, Capitals defenseman Nick Jensen in that game against Tampa was absolutely walloped by Mikey Eisman, and he had to be taken off the ice on a stretcher. He was hit hard. It went into the boards awkwardly. They did put out a statement that he was alert, moving his limbs and everything of that nature, so that's positive, that's good. But they're probably going to be down a defenseman here as they try to finish off this regular season and try to squeeze into the playoffs. I mean, the Caps have had their injuries. They're already without Rasmus Sandin as well. It's not good news there in Washington as they see if they can fight their way in here to the 24 Stanley Cup playoffs. Wayne Simmons signed his 1-day contract today with the Philadelphia Flyers. We had reported on that several weeks back once it was announced that was going to be taking place. Today's the day. Of course, the Flyers, like I said, are playing the Devils as a later afternoon start, so that game's already 2/3 done as I record this video. He signed his 1-day contract. He was honored prior to the game, so he'll go down as being a Flyer here in retirement. That's likely, I think it's fair to say, where he played his best hockey. Of course, played with the LA Kings as well. After he left Philly, he was traded and then ended up for a few years in Toronto in a smaller role. But at the end of the day, his bulk of his time in Philly was what he's most known for, what he identifies with the most, and overall just to where he played his best hockey. So good on Wayne Simmons, officially retired now, and nice to see the Flyers bring him back and honor him in that regard. Big signing in Chicago. They've got one of their top prospects under contract now, and it's going to start immediately. Frank Nazar, who was the 2022 first-round pick, 13th overall, playing at the University of Michigan the past couple seasons, had tremendous success at the college level, has officially signed, left college, and will get a chance to get at least a game in here. I'm not sure when he's expected to debut, but he will be having his contract start immediately and get at least a game in here, which is nice to see. So obviously another big piece of the Blackhawks' future is on the dotted line and in the lineup here before the end of the regular season so they can get a look at what they have to come. As I mentioned, we also have a fairly significant update again, not as significant as the other ones we've had on the Coyotes situation and the relocation. Of course, the biggest update we had overall was yesterday when we got word from Elliot Friedman that players were told they're moving and prepared for the move. Obviously, it's still not a 100% done deal with everything. There's still lawyers involved. There's still, I's to be dotted, T's to be crossed. It's not 100%, and there's still a slim chance that there could be a hiccup and maybe some part of this doesn't get agreed to and everything changes again. But we're looking at a 95 to 5% chance. So 95% this happens, they move. 5% chance they get into some kind of dispute over something and the deal's off. I don't see that happening. The NHL and the NHLPA, Gary Bettman, everybody involved seem pretty, aggressive and wanting to get this done and get it done quickly. So at the end of the day here, the Coyotes finally put out a statement from owner Alex Muriel. I'm going to be critical of this statement as well. To me, he's really late to the party. And his statement was the great example of using words to say pretty much absolutely nothing. And if you take a look, and I'll show you here the letter that they published on social media, not only is it look at it. For one, it's written in all caps. The font is terrible. And I know it might seem petty of me to pick at these things, but it's like the level of unprofessionalism. And look at as well, there's a spot where it looks like there's the cursor right on the page. Grammatically, it's bad. The font, it's all in caps. I don't know who designed this. It just looks terrible. And he said lots of words without saying anything. He essentially said that there's been a lot of discussion about the future of the Coyotes lately, and he understands and empathizes with the fans, the community, the players, the staff, front office, etc. And he hopes to be able to address these issues as soon as he's able to. He says they're focused on a myriad of unresolved issues and can't make any public comments at this time. So, why did you even bother? You might as well have just not said anything, to be completely honest, because you said nothing in the first place. You did not confirm that the team is moving. You did not confirm that there's discussions being finalized to sell the team. You did not confirm that, you're still trying to make it work and keep them to stay. You didn't confirm jack squat. So why even bother putting out this unprofessional looking letter? It just goes to create further, in my opinion, just this, further reasons to be critical of their ability and how they do business and how they look at things. I don't know. I really do feel honestly terrible for the fans of this franchise and the people of Arizona that want to love and support this hockey team. But I just don't see how they can go back to this market with this owner. I don't get it at all, but it's expected. We've heard numerous more updates that it is expected that they're going to have the Coyotes logo, name, its existence kind of basically be deactivated, if you will. And he's going to have 5 years, first right of refusal to reactivate this team as an expansion team. Down the road, they're going to have to meet a list of conditions, one of which is going to have to be that the arena deal is sorted out. It's expected at this point, until we hear otherwise, that he is going to continue to go forth and try to get this land and go to the auction on June 27th, like it was scheduled, and continue working away, getting this arena deal. We did hear as well from enough reputable sources that it's believed that the hockey operations people, so your general manager, assistant general managers, scouts, all those people that work on the hockey ops side, as well as the coaching staff, trainers, equipment staff, all those people will be able to go with the team. They're going to be part of the package. Of course, if they don't want to go, they don't have to. They can be I don't want to move to Utah. I'm out. That's fine. That's their prerogative. But they will be offered the opportunity to stay with the team and keep their jobs and go. That's what we've heard so far. Can't confirm that 100% until that comes from the NHL and once it's official. But that's what the word on the street is around that part of things. The business operation side of hockey with the team is not going with the new owner. They will remain in Arizona. I'm not sure if they're all keeping their jobs or how that's all going to work. I wouldn't think they all would, because I don't think they'll need them all. But that will remain under Alex Muriel as he continues to work away at this arena deal. He will still have some staff. I'm not sure exactly how that's all going to work. But business ops, of course, which makes sense, won't be going with the team. But at least it sounds like, and until we get this confirmed, that Ryan Smith is going to keep the management and the coach and everything of that nature. To me, I think they've done a good job. This is going to be done in a pretty quick fashion. I'm not sure that it would really be in the franchise's best interest for him to fire everybody and start fresh with a new GM, new coach, and all that. Andre Tourney's a phenomenal coach. I think he's done well with the opportunity, and I think Bill Armstrong has done a good job considering he's been handcuffed by financial constraints and everything that he's been under this ownership group. So if you give him a chance to use all this draft capital, all this cap space, and actually spend to the cap with an owner that has deeper pockets and can make these moves, I'd like to see what he could do. If I'm Ryan Smith and I'm looking at everything they've done to build up this core group of prospects that are looking really solid and everything, I'm excited about what I'm getting here, and I'm going to give them the opportunity to take it a step further. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. We'll see what happens in that regard. But at the end of the day, that's everything we've heard so far from the Coyotes relocation stuff. So we'll stay tuned. It's expected this is going to continue to come together quickly. And if everything goes the way it's planned, it's expected that the Ryan Smith group could have the players and staff of the Coyotes that are going to be going, possibly visiting Utah to see the facilities, get a tour, and just kind of be talk to as quickly as the next couple of days. Now, the Coyotes are off on Monday and Tuesday. They play their final home game Wednesday. So whether or not it comes together with enough time that they're able to do that, maybe like Monday or something, I'm not sure. If that's not possible, then it's expected that as soon as the regular season's done, before they disperse, that they'll likely all be invited to go out there for a day or two and then kind of see everything and how it's all going to work. So that's what we know so far here on the Coyote situation that we've learned since the last video. Now, on the trade rumor talk front, let's take a look at the Calgary Flames. And I want to bring up I hate to talk about Brady Tkachuk because, to be honest, I really don't think he's going anywhere. But he seems to be a popular name that media members like to bring up for no apparent reason. And there's really when it comes to Brady, actually, let's just start with Brady, because really, like, when he's being brought up, it's not like they're saying we're hearing things, that the Senators are shopping him, and I've seen different spins on this within the YouTube world. I don't know, because I don't really think of myself as media. I mean, at the same time, I'm reporting on things, but I mean, I'm not getting a lot of the first information firsthand, right? So, whether you look at what's being talked about, on social media, YouTube, compared to what some of the top reporters are putting out there, or the analysts are just talking about. This is, when it comes to Brady Tkachuk, this is all just, I wonder if this team would try to trade for him. That's really all it is. And the latest one was Mike Rupp, who's a reputable insider, talks a lot on NHL Network. He's on SiriusXM Radio. He's on a lot of things. He's, very much around the game quite a bit, and a person that a lot of people like to get opinions from. He was talking about how New Jersey needs Brady Tkachuk now. Like, you know what? There's 31 other teams in the NHL that probably could say they need Brady Tkachuk. Like I said, he's a unicorn player. Like, everybody would love to. He's one of those guys that you hate playing against and you love to have on your team. Outside of Florida, who's got his brother who plays a similar role, there's probably 30 other teams that would, could benefit greatly. But really, in all honesty, if New Jersey and Tom Fitzgerald come calling to Ottawa for Brady Tkachuk, do you honestly think they're not going to be asking for the moon? Are they going to want to trade Jack Hughes? No? Okay. Bye-bye. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to want something significant. And even if it's not Jack Hughes, if you're not thinking, if it's not something like that, like, it would be a huge package. A couple first rounders, Nemec, Mercer, Holtz, like, they're going to want to move like 5-6 grade A assets. I don't think so, and not that Ottawa wants to move. And to be honest, Brady's saying all the right things. I understand people think he's frustrated, but he keeps continuously talking about how he loves Ottawa, how he wants to bring a Stanley Cup there, how he is looking forward to next year and trying to, do all these things and hit some goals. And I just don't see a situation coming up where the Senators would really entertain that. I don't see a team offering up enough to really make them go, maybe we should do this. I mean, crazier things have happened. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see it. So, not paying a lot of attention to it. It's not like they're coming up with rumors saying, well, we've heard, because I've seen some people spin it that way, and that's not the case. When I heard Mike Rupp's comments, this was strictly, I think New Jersey should go after Brady Tkachuk. They need the toughness. That's really all it was, So At the end of the day, it's not happening. At least I don't think. In Calgary, this information sounds a little bit more credible as far as things that can happen. With the Flames, Julian McKenzie of The Athletic appears in several other places as well as the Chris Johnson podcast. Obviously has a bit of inside information, covers the Flames closely. Was asked in a recent mailbag type article about Jacob Markstrom and what his future holds. And he said he honestly would be quite surprised if Markstrom came back next year. So he fully expects Markstrom to be traded, which we've talked about. We've talked about before with the Devils maybe re-engaging, with the Flames around Markstrom. Okay, we've talked the other day about, there was brought up about, that was the Edmonton Journal that brought up maybe Ottawa. Ottawa has goaltending issues. Could there be a fit there? Well, does Markstrom want to go there? Because obviously he's got protection in his contract, which he can kind of, call a shot here, so to speak, right? Detroit's been brought up, and now McKenzie brings up Toronto, depending on what happens with Ilya Samsonov. Now, depending on how the Leafs feel about Samsonov, if they feel like they want to go in a different direction and bring in a more stable veteran goalie to work with Joseph Wall for the next couple of years as a tandem, would Brad Treliving go to his old team and the Flames and bring in a guy he was obviously fond enough to offer that big contract to that he's got with Calgary now? We know that Treliving obviously had players with the Flames that he was fond of. He helped bring them there in the first place. He's seen firsthand what he can do. That to me does make sense. Now, if the Flames move Markstrom, I fully suspect they're going to want younger, future-based assets. I could see Nick Robertson being something that's offered if that were to take place. You look at draft picks, which I know they're kind of low on, so it might be future ones. There's other younger pieces of the organization that could be involved too, but I could see one of their younger players, like a Robertson, maybe being included. Now, Bobby McMahon's another interesting name too. Now, I know he's technically a pending UFA because he's kind of found his niche here with the Leafs to be a regular a lot later, right? So he's an older rookie. So he's going to get the UFA status because of all the time he's put in the minors. And they may struggle to re-sign him. Not saying they don't want to keep him. I have no doubt they would, because he's been a very pleasant surprise. And if he's a UFA, well, maybe a part of that's a sign and trade. I don't know. I'm just saying that if they determine they can't keep him because he's done really well, he's going to be difficult to re-sign, I think. Maybe he's somebody that the Flames look at. They have, maybe there's, a defenseman in their system they like. It could be some combination of prospects and picks of that nature. If the Leafs were to do something like that, I can see it being something they look at. Cap-wise would be a little tricky for them now. And a lot of it's going to depend on the playoff results, how things go, and how Samsonov does. Wall's under contract. We know he's not going anywhere. Marty Jones is debatable to return next year. He's done a good job for them as a number 3, but can they bring him back or not? It's up for a debate right now. And then we don't know what's going on with Matt Murray. I don't suspect that even if he does make appearances, I can't see Toronto bringing him back. Wall's the only real one that's for sure. And maybe Samsonov, depending on how the playoffs go. But are they going to want to give Samsonov term? I don't know, right? Because he's been a bit of a wild card. So we'll have to wait and see where things go on that front. The other thing that's mentioned by Julian McKenzie is that he feels that the Flames could be one of those teams, like we've talked about with the Montreal Canadiens, that could be going after a younger talent that might be due for a change of scenery. So, for example, there's a couple of names that come to mind, like Morgan Frost with the Flyers. We know he doesn't seem to be a Tortorella guy. I can see the Flames being interested in him based on what he brings, and I can see the Flyers wanting to move on and get something in return that they like. I do know that another name that comes up that, to me, if you look at younger players that can come into their system and where things are up with their veteran guys, I can see the Jets considering a Cole Perfetti move. But they're going to need a good young something in return, whether it's a first-round pick. There's going to have to be something tangible that's a young, solid asset that they like. I'm not sure exactly what that would be from Calgary, but I can see a scenario unfolding where the Jets consider a Perfetti move, depending on what the return is. So could the Flames be players like the Habs in that sense with their draft capital? I do think that also does make a lot of sense as well. So I expect Calgary to be another very busy team like they were throughout the course of this season. And obviously, like I said, the Brady Tkachuk stuff, to me, I think it's not really, I hate to even give it airtime because it's being talked about and I see all these, articles and videos popping up. And I'm like, it's based on nothing. This is like, some trade rumors make more sense, but this isn't even so much a rumor as it is people saying that he's frustrated down there. Like Andy Strickland was saying, oh, Brady Tkachuk's tired of losing. Teams need to get him out of there. Like, that's just an opinion. Like, is he frustrated? Sure. But again, there's no indication he wants to leave. He wants to, looks like he wants to make things right there and have the success. So we'll see. It could be interesting. I do expect Ottawa to be busy. Wouldn't be shocked if they make some kind of trade that does impact their core. I just don't see him being the guy. Like I said, he's too much of a unicorn player. You can't replace him. If they do that, they would regret that for as long as he plays. I really believe that. Unless he ever comes to them and says, trade me, I want out, you don't do it. He's too unique of a talent, and you'd kick yourself in the butt for the rest of his days. So let me know your thoughts on all of today's news and rumors down in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.